Ancient Egyptians had Ra, the Greeks had Helios. Almost every ancient culture worshipped a sun deity, and with good reason. The sun is what facilitates all life on this planet. The sun has also endlessly fascinated astronomers, but being able to get up close to a burning hot star 147 million kilometers away is quite the difficult task. What might we learn when we can finally study the sun up close? The Parker probe was launched and has since been on a journey to investigate the burning star at the heart of our solar system. You're watching Matter, and today we're talking about NASA's discovery that shocked the world. Always on top of cutting-edge space research, Elon Musk, along with the rest of the space world, eagerly awaited this probe becoming the first ever man-made object to touch the sun. NASA launched this probe with the goal of collecting data from inside the sun's corona to give astronomers their first detailed look at the inner workings of the sun. Using Venus as sort of a gravitational slingshot, the Parker probe will make many flybys of Venus multiple times during its mission. With a total of 24 planned orbits around the sun, the craft will enter inside the sun's atmosphere multiple times at distances closer than 7 million kilometers from the sun's surface. Scientists are anticipating that once the probe gets close enough and begins to accelerate with help from the sun's gravity, the craft will be traveling at speeds faster than any man-made object before it. At its fastest speed, the Parker probe will reach an estimated speed of nearly 700,000 kilometers an hour during its approach. This spacecraft was named after famous solar physicist Eugene Parker. Dr. Parker has been working on understanding the sun and its functions for over 60 years. During his early career, he was first to theorize about the existence of solar winds and the shape of magnetic fields within the sun's corona. His work led to a massive leap forward in astronomers' understanding of the sun. And because of this, he has become the first living person to have a NASA spacecraft named after him. After the launch of this probe, Dr. Parker told reporters, "I'm sure that there will be some surprises."
It's a whole new phase, and it's going to be fascinating throughout.
What do astronomers already know about the sun? The light and heat from the sun are two of the main components that have allowed life to flourish on Earth. But less is known about the sun than you might think. We know that the sun is big, really big, a giant compared to Earth with a diameter of almost 1.4 million kilometers. More than 1 million Earths would be able to fit inside. At the core of our sun, atoms are being smashed to form heavier elements in the process of nuclear fusion, which generates scorching temperatures up to 15 million degrees Celsius. Past that, the temperatures drop within the radiative zone, where it measures nearly 7 million degrees Celsius. Further out, the convective zone is even cooler and only reaches temperatures around 2 million degrees Celsius. Finally, there is the visible surface of the sun, the photosphere, that only heats to temperatures close to 5,500 degrees Celsius. Beyond the surface of the sun lies its atmosphere, made up of the chromosphere, which is a thin layer that extends for 3,000 to 5,000 kilometers over the photosphere and warms to a hot 20,000 degrees Celsius. Above the chromosphere lies the final layer of the sun's structure, the corona, which extends over 8 million kilometers into space and can reach temperatures over a scorching 1.1 million degrees Celsius. Within the corona of the sun, destructive events occur that can even threaten our safety on Earth. Solar flares and mass coronal ejections can emit giant amounts of charged particles that jet out into space. If these jets are directed towards Earth, they will interact with the magnetic field produced by our own planet, creating beautiful light shows in the northern and southern sky, known as the aurora borealis in the north and the aurora australis in the south. But these streams of charged particles can also cause issues and potentially damage the equipment in space or even injure astronauts if they are not well protected. Astronomers and scientists at NASA have been wanting to send a probe to explore the sun for over 6 decades. There were many problems that needed to be solved before they could send a probe to the sun, and they had to exhaust the list of possible issues that could arise during the mission before a solar probe could be ready to launch. Unlike any spacecraft before it, the Parker probe is specially designed to survive coming within 7 million kilometers from the surface of the sun. This probe is built with an impressive carbon fiber heat shield and is outfitted with state-of-the-art sensors and other measuring devices designed to send back accurate information about the conditions it encounters. One of the most important instruments is the Solar Probe Cup that will be able to collect information from the corona. This special device is Faraday cup that was designed to catch charged particles and will be able to take rapid measurements of the solar winds and particles inside the coronal region. What has it revealed so far? So far, the Parker probe has made history by being the first spacecraft to touch inside the sun's corona. It has already made several trips into the sun's atmosphere and has sent back information astronomers were eagerly awaiting. All of this data that is being collected from within the sun's atmosphere will help astronomers understand more about the processes and influences that the sun has on the remainder of the solar system. The probe will also pass the Alfvén point, which is the point at which the solar winds break free from the magnetic fields inside the corona and escape into the solar system. From here, the solar winds spread throughout the solar system and eventually end where they meet interstellar winds. The solar wind from the sun helps create the heliosphere, which extends out more than 16 billion kilometers from the sun and forms the bubble in which our solar system resides. The magnetic field and solar winds from the sun allow the heliosphere to shield the solar system and, by extension, protect us from harmful radiation that comes from interstellar space. What do astronomers hope it finds? Astronomers are hoping that the Parker probe collects enough data to help further their understanding of how energy moves through the corona of the sun. The goal is to better understand the environment that creates the solar winds. They also hope to get a clearer answer on the solar mechanisms that allow the steady stream of charged, energetic particles to be ejected from the sun that astronomers have measured for years. One of the more destructive events that occur within the corona of the sun are called coronal mass ejections, which can also influence us on Earth. Scientists are striving to understand more about these ejections. Will this new information help us better protect astronauts and our instruments from getting damaged by these destructive particles? Astronomers are not entirely sure what all the Parker probe will uncover and what it will mean for their understanding about the sun and the solar system. But there is no doubt that touching the sun for the first time has been a fantastic achievement and is one more step to understanding the star that gives us warmth and light. Is there something you look forward to the Parker probe finding? Be sure to join us next time, and if you watched all the way to the end, we want to say thank you. And if you enjoyed this video, please feel free to hit the like and subscribe buttons so you won't miss any of our future videos.